Hello there! Chatbots and voice assistants are one of the most important tools in today's and especially in tomorrow's world, but who are the people behind them, the conversation designers? My name is Eran Soroka, head of marketing for CoCoHub.ai. Today, for our special guest, we're traveling all the way to Istanbul, Turkey, to chat with Hale Yılmaz, a conversation design team lead for MindBehind. How are you, Hale?
Thank you, Eran, for asking me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Great weather, great things all the way around. How did you get into conversation design?
So I had an interesting journey to conversation design, actually. So I'm a graduate of English literature and philosophy, and I also have a teaching certificate in English in Turkey. And as far as I've known myself, I was always interested in learning languages, even though I managed to learn the basics even. And this interest led me to study English literature in the first place, but I also took linguistics courses as electives, just in the side. And right after I graduated, I worked in the education sector. I helped people design educational programs, and I was already working in a summer program for 7 summers. So that was also an interest of mine. And while I was working on an education project between Germany and Turkey, this amazing recruiter approached me about conversation design. At the time, I was taking user experience design and systems design courses. So that part already got my interest in the first place. And at the end, conversation design just turned out to be what I like the most. And I'm happy to be here. So a recruiter helped me out on that.
Yeah, as an educator, what are the best, first of all, what are the best practices you took from education to conversation design?
Actually, understanding students is by itself on another level, because you need to design those courses and you need to know your students well to actually teach them well. So a good teacher actually knows their group well and just knows other approaches to approach them to teach a subject. This is what I did actually when I got my certificate in the first place. I made these small games to make sure that each student, even the most naughty ones, were also engaged and like they listened to the subject. And I think that's also what's really important in conversation design. You really got to know your audience well, who will be your end users, and you need to design chatbots accordingly. So I would say that.
And what are the best use cases you see for chatbots in education these days?
I think for formal education, following syllabuses would be one, and following course materials. Those things would actually help out the teachers. But I think since every student has a different learning interest and a learning need, and they have a different pace to learn, just them following those materials in the way that they want would be ideal. And something for me, I would have wanted to see it as a student actually. So since I'm a philosophy and English literature graduate, I always had these questions in my mind about the materials that I've read. I would have loved a virtual, like just typing it to a virtual assistant and get at least an answer to that. Or even if I didn't, the teacher would be able to see it, or like my professor would be able to see it and then maybe talk about it in a class. That would have been amazing for me, instead of waiting for days or like taking notes. Just like immediately getting that answer from that virtual assistant is a whole different experience. And for informal education, which I also worked on that in the summer programs. I think it would make informal education way more interesting and fun with a virtual assistant. And again, you can get your answers quickly, and just it would make everything more entertaining. So yeah.
Sounds amazing. I love it as well. Like the same thing you're talking about. What's the bot or the project that you're most proud of so far?
I would say it's Mindo. It's the virtual assistant we have on the main page of MindBehind. So that's where every member in MindBehind actually gets creative, because we take all ideas from our team and we try to implement as much of them as we can. And that's where I also feel very creative as well, just listening all these ideas and figuring out ways how we implement them. So we have many use cases there. And actually recently we started to accept CVs through Mindo. So anyone who's interested in working in MindBehind, they can just give their CVs and they can have a taste of conversation design as well. And we can check it out. So that's also amazing.
Nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
What's the what what's the most important things in chatbots these days, in your opinion?
Okay, this will sound really simplistic and maybe too basic, but just knowing your users and empathizing with them and making sure that like you answer their questions and their concerns in a path is, I think, really important. So I would say user experience at the very basic term. That's the most crucial one.
Okay. What's the funniest or strangest or most awkward thing that happened to you as a conversation designer?
Okay, I've thought about this a little bit. And
Okay.
so, we have many assistants in various languages, and I'm pretty sure there are some funny or strange ones in other languages, but the case that I've thought of is actually in English. One of our clients is a huge e-commerce company in Turkey, and they get like tens of thousands of messages per week through various channels. And there was this one case I remember vividly, and that's a user wrote, "Let's play Roblox," out of nowhere, like to an e-commerce store. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, why would you even try that in the first place? But yeah, but we get some interesting cases now and then. So, but that's the one that just I remember the most.
I actually, for my bot that I created like, if you ask him to sing a song, the bot or her, it says, you remember the song Barbara Streisand, that nothing is
Yes.
said. So he says, ooh, bot for Streisand. Yeah,
Nice.
that's funny as well.
I would love to see this.
Yeah, actually, it's fun. It's very fun. I'll let you show. I'll show it afterwards. In the meanwhile, what's the most valuable things your clients, you said that you're working with e-commerce clients, find in chatbots?
Okay, we work with other sectors as well,
Oh,
but even though it's with them, yeah, we work with many sectors. But what our clients value the most is actually, I think, the conversational experience, because they usually come at having cases at mind. So if it's e-commerce, for example, they want to sell their products through WhatsApp or Instagram, or if it's an NGO, they want their users to just learn more about some questions that they ask for. Uh, on that, we always try to improve their case and add that conversational element on top of that. So I think that's what they value as well, because we make it seem smooth and flawless, and in a tone of conversation. So that would be the one.
so MindBehind, can you tell us more about the company we're working with? Like, what is your job?
Well, yeah, of course, of course. So for the ones who don't know, MindBehind is a local platform to design virtual assistants in multiple channels such as WhatsApp, Instagram, or any other, and we support artificial intelligence. It has a simple and, according to what we heard from our customers, intuitive interface. So you just simply drag and drop and just create a chatbot, sometimes in minutes. So as a conversation designer, I am part of what we call MindBehind Studio, and I'm also the team lead at the global operations. So I make sure that everyone has a great time in my team, and we also design assistants in various languages. Sometimes I design the English ones, and sometimes I help my team to design some others. So since MindBehind is a scale up, our roles change time to time. So sometimes I'm the first point of contact for some customers as well. But in general, this is what I do.
Okay, that sounds like a lot. Like, how big is your team there?
My team in the global team.
Yeah.
So we are around like a team of 10, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, but in general, in MindBehind, we have around 70. So yeah, it's a scale up.
Yeah. It sounds like. You said that you have a very interesting journey from education, from philosophy. If somebody wants to get into conversation design, what tips would you give or her?
I would say follow what's going on in the small community of ours, because it's still a relatively new field, and just getting all the updates and following everything to various channels would be really helpful. And I would also say join discussions. On LinkedIn, mostly there are these discussions, and that's how we also know each other. We join the discussion on the necessity of small talk in chatbots. So I think following these discussions and joining them is really crucial, because you get to see another perspective in this community of ours as well. So that's what I would say to the new conversation designers.
I love this community as well. It's very, very warming and very welcoming, because like we're always incorporating new people into this profession. Give us one forecast for the future of conversational AI and chatbots in your field or and anywhere else.
As you may have seen this as well, there was Ray-Ban stories from the cooperation of Facebook and Ray-Ban. It just got out. I believe that virtual assistants will be on everyday items such as glasses, or maybe things that we cannot even think about right now. So on that, conversational AI will have a big impact, and I think it will be really crucial and important in the future as well.
Yeah, one Amir Shrivat, I think, once said that we won't talk with chatbots, we will talk with the refrigerator, we'll talk with the clock, we'll talk like everything.
Exactly. That will be really interesting as well. It would be a whole new experience to have that.
Yeah, it will be. Hale Yılmaz, conversation design team lead at MindBehind. Thank you very much for this lovely conversation.
Thank you, Eran, for having me here.
So for everybody watching or listening, go check out CoCoHub.ai, where we create bots with human touch and help you, everyone, create a voice, video, or textual chatbot without any coding knowledge, without any previous experience. Take care, have fun, bye-bye.